Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com. And in this video we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and the Bitcoin and blockchain related stocks. Okay, so first up this is Bitcoin BTC USD Coinbase. And so yeah, if you caught the last video, I posted a video when it was when it made the big bullish volume spike on the 12th, and then it had the red candle the next day, and the analysis was that if it could bust above and break through 8,000, that it could run to 8,600, and it did end up breaking 8,000 here yesterday, getting up above. Let's see, yesterday. Let's see, where was it at here? So yeah, so it closed just below 8,000 here, or right above 8,000 on Friday. And then yesterday there was big follow through. It hit 83.55. The reason why I was saying 8,600 was going to be the next target was this green line here. This is the 50-day simple moving average, and so that looks like the level that it was retracing to. That's currently at what is it, 8,518 now. When I posted the last chart, it was up here at the 6,000 level. It's dropping, it's heading lower, and so now it's 8,518 is the big level to break. Today there is a red candle forming, and this is forming a bearish Harami reversal pattern. The main thing now is that this pink line holds. This is EMA 4. If it stays above that level, currently at 8,000 and what? It got something. This chart's hard. It currently at 8,031. Where is that at? Yeah, 8,053. As long as that level holds, that's going to signal upside potential. If it were to drop below this pink line, then you could see it drop back down to EMA 8, which is all the way down here, currently at around 7,775. And so it's just important that it stays above EMA 4, and that'll signal that the uptrend's still intact. And then if it can bust above this 50-day simple moving average, that's going to be your big clue. Okay, yeah, Bitcoin trading above 8,500, that's going to be a signal, okay, it wants to head higher. And then what you'd be shooting for is this 100 and 200-day simple moving averages. They're currently up here in this 9,600 range. So that would be the next target. So it could have a big move. Now granted, there's going to be high close horizontal resistance. This 8,900 level is really big. You can see the closes right here. It was failing to break that level on the bounce and pulled back. So that will be a big resistance level to break in the future. Yeah, you could see right here, this level right here, 8,928. So yeah, there's some different, it's a nice bounce. It came down, as you can see, it hit the bottom here in February, came up, topped out, came back down. Now it's holding that support from February, and now it's trying to push higher. It's going to be all about breaking that 50-day simple moving average. Failed to do so, and it's going to consolidate more. Now, if it broke below EMA 4, you could see it drop back down to that 300-day simple moving average. That's currently at 7,592. That level needs to hold. It needs to stay above that level and break through that 50-day simple moving average to head higher. Now, take a look at GBTC. This is Bitcoin Investment Trust. Now it trades over the counter, but this is a way that you could trade Bitcoin without trading the currency. So if you bought stock in this, it follows Bitcoin's movement. You can see it closed up 8%, RSI is at 52, so the chart's heating up. Fasto's at 100, so it's frothy temporarily. You've got the bullish crossover on ADX. So on Thursday there was a close above the middle Bollinger Band and the 200-day simple moving average, the red line. If those levels turn into support, a new uptrend should begin. You can see there was another close above that level on Friday, and so the next level to break is the 50-day simple moving average at 1439. If it can close above that level and turn into support, the 100-day simple moving average at 1739 will be on deck. You can see here these candles hit that green line and pull back, so it's going to be a huge level to break that 50-day simple moving average. Notice it's on a 5-day run, so it's a big run off of this 10 support zone. Notice this was support from back here in February as well. It came down and hit that zone and bounced, and so it's just going to be important that it holds that middle Bollinger Band and stays above 12. Okay, so let's look at some of the stocks that are Bitcoin related. Okay, arguably the big dog is NVDA, because it trades, has the largest market cap, probably arguably of the Bitcoin blockchain related stocks. Closed up 231%, and so yeah, so what you're looking for here, if you're a bull, is for a close above that 50-day simple simple moving average. It hit that level and pulled back, currently at basically 236. You know, it looks like yeah, I didn't see the pattern, but it looks this looks like bearish dark cloud cover. So yeah, so that looks like a very bearish reversal pattern. I mean, I probably shouldn't do this right now, but I'm going to. But to me, I didn't see what the last pattern was. But yeah, let's see here if I'm right. Let's see. Let's just check this out real quick. This website here is good for your candlestick patterns, and yeah, bearish dark cloud cover. So yeah, I was right. Yeah, it had the bullish reversal pattern, and then today or on Friday, you know, a very bearish pattern did form. You know, this is not the pattern that you want if you're a bull. It's a strong reversal pattern. You know, it can reverse back above, but this is signaling downside risk. If it stays below that middle Bollinger Band, currently at 231.57, that would be a red flag. It has to stay above EMAs 4 and 8. A drop below 227 would put that 100-day simple moving average at 223 back in deck. Now it could reverse. We know the market's been just back and forth, and so if it next week, if it can close above 236, that's going to be a signal that it wants to head higher. Below 231.50 signals downside risk. Okay, let's look at AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. This was bouncing off the bottom, but it did close down 1.5% on Friday. You know, it had that nice move heading into the close of the week, but Friday it did pull back and it formed this bearish engulfing reversal pattern. Yeah, as you could see here, you know, this is a cool website if you're a candlestick pattern kind of guy or gal. You know, it's you know, as you can see here, bearish engulfing reversal pattern formed, and this is another very strong reversal pattern. Okay, so it does signal downside risk. It came back and it did fill the gap. There was an unfilled gap between those two candles. It filled that right away. And so now it's testing that EMA's 4 and 8 level again. If it drops below 991, that's going to signal major downside risk. It has to stay above that level. If it drops below, then you could see it retest down here, that 950 level, you know, possibly drop back down to 9. It just signals, you know, when it was heading lower, notice how all these candles are below the pink line. You know, trading below EMA 4 signals the bears are in control. The bulls are trying to get a reversal going. Next week, if it can get above that middle Bollinger Band at 1025, that's going to be your signal it wants to head higher. So above 1025 signals upside potential for AMD, and below 990 signals downside risk. Okay, let's look at Overstock. Okay, so this is another top dog. You know, now it's tied to Bitcoin. You know, these stocks, you know, they all gladly tied themselves to the ones in the video tied themselves to Bitcoin and blockchain while everything was running. And that works out great when Bitcoin's bullish. But then when Bitcoin turned bearish, they all suffered as well. And so, you know, there's a lot going on. We'll see what happens after the tax season, because a lot of the traders are getting hit by you know, having to pay their taxes on their Bitcoin, and so you know, a lot of people are thinking that there's going to be a rally after tax season. We'll see what happens. Overstock here, OSTK, closed down 5%, so that was a really bearish close on Friday. It has the same setup where it came up and it hit that middle Bollinger Band and it got rejected. You know, rejected at the middle Bollinger Band. You know, once again, it looks like a bearish engulfing reversal pattern formed, which is not the pattern that you want if you are a bull. You know, bearish engulfing. You know, it's just not what you want. It's just another bad signal for the sector. You know, it signals downside. Then a strong reversal pattern. You know, yeah, I mean, the markets have been so crazy that it could reverse and run after this pattern, just because, you know, it's been difficult with all the back and forth. You know. The bottom line is, if the middle or EMA 4 and EMA 8 there at 37.28 fail to hold, that's going to signal downside risk, and you could see that 300-day simple moving average at 33, you know, basically $34 retested. You know, if it breaks the middle Bollinger Band and it trades above 40, that's going to signal upside potential, and the target's going to be the 200-day simple moving average at 42.53. You know, so it's like above 40 puts 42.50 on the deck. You know, drop below that 37.28 level, and you're looking at a possible drop down to 34. You know, very similar. A lot of these stocks from last week have the same type of pattern where they've been walking it higher. Notice this uptrending channel. You know, you've got this channel here, and they're walking, even though there's down days, it's still heading higher, higher highs, higher lows. Look, even though there's a red candle on Friday, it made a higher high. So it's been back and forth, and this is a pattern that a lot of stocks have had heading into earnings season. So we're just going to have to see if they're going to actually get uptrends going, or if they're going to get rejected. It all comes down to turning the middle Bollinger Band into support right now. If you look back here, you could see when the middle Bollinger Band failed to hold this whole time in February, that signaled downtrend. You know, when the middle Bollinger Band's holding, see that's the dotted purple line here, you know, it signals uptrend. You know, when it fails to hold, stocks head lower. So right now it's right at that level. It has to break. Okay, so let's look at Square. So Square's another one. You know, the banks got hit hard on Friday. I did post that video on Thursday showing that they could get hit. And it did happen. Blackstone was the red flag. I mean, Blackstone had the ugly ass, or excuse my language, had the ugly candle, and it signaled downside risk. And Kramer was really pumping the crap out of it on Thursday. And I was just like, Kramer, did you not look at Jim Cramer from CNBC? Did you not look at the daily chart? Because it was showing risk. You know, it was showing risk, and it turned out to be a bloodbath for the banks on Friday. And so to me, the charts here are signaling downside risk once again. You have Square with the bearish engulfing reversal pattern. I don't need to go show you again. That's the same pattern. You have the giant red candle, you know, over the you know, white candle, the previous white candle, and so it signals downside risk. It closed back below EMA's 4, 8, and 13 and the 50-day simple moving average. To go forward, it has to get back above 47.81. If 47.80 turns into resistance, then you got 46 back on deck and possibly 44. Okay, so that would not be good at all. This was a really not the close that the bulls were looking for. You know, now it could reverse, and that has been happening. It's going to be all about getting above 50. You know, you have the middle Bollinger Band there. If it could break above 50 and turn into resistance or support, it says it's, you know, signals it wants to head higher. You know, if this 48 level turns into resistance, it's going to signal downside risk, and you're going to see 46 retested. I mean, the volume has not been big either on up days or down days. Volume was really light last week, so people are really I think there's just a lot of confusion right now, and people are hesitant to place big bets, so we're not seeing the volume right now, even though we're heading into earnings season. So it's a very odd earnings season, considering that it's supposed to be a record-setting earnings with you know, just huge you know, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. Let's look at NETE here. Closed up nearly 18%. You know, you have RSI at 59, at 60 almost. You have Fasto at 85. It did form a indecision candle on Friday. It was looking like it was going to close with the doji. You know, it did still form this you know, a high wave spinning top type candle. You know, just it just signals indecision. It went way low, traded higher up at 10, but it closed pretty much where it started the day. And so going forward, it's just going to be all about turning this middle Bollinger Band and 50 and 100-day simple moving average levels on deck. If it can stay above 777, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. You know, $8 above signals it wants to head higher. If it can break above 10, you know, that's going to signal that it wants to push to the next level. You know, so you have yeah, so you have 10. You know, you have this little zone right here, and then basically if it can get through, you're looking at a possible run back up to this 13 to 14 level. You know, there's going to be resistance obviously here. You know, this was a previous support zone. So you know, we're just going to have to see, can it get this new uptrend going? If it pulls back below, it has a lot of support. You have the 200, 300, 50, 100, EMA's 4, 8. It's trading above all the moving averages right now. It just has to break out of this channel to head higher. Okay, let's look at FTFT. Yeah, and the good thing about NETE is it does have good volume behind the move, but you know, you have to keep in mind, you know, the volume spikes here many times are followed by red candles. So look at you know, these volume spikes over here. You know, volume spike, red candle, volume spike, red candle, red candle. You know, every volume spike is followed by a red candle. So now you have a volume spike over yesterday. I mean, it's, to me, I was thinking a red candle's coming. I know other people are writing, but I was thinking that there's probably reload levels lower. We'll have to see. Okay, so let's look at FTFT. It closed up 27%. Our size at 57. We'll see if Fasto can get above 50. You know, this was another one in the chat. I recommended people locking in gains when it was up here, just because you know, this has a history of not staying above the 300-day simple moving average, and it turns out that I was correct. Not saying that, you know, not you know, just not not bragging or trying to say, oh yeah, I was right. I'm just pointing it out that I was just trying to help, because as you can see here with all these upper wicks above this blue line, it signaled that the lock in gains. And I've traded this one before, and it's a bloodsucker. When it's up, you got to lock in gains. Yeah, it's had a couple of good runs before, but all these upper wicks on all these candles is a sign that this company just does one thing really good, and that's dump shares. They're really good at dilution, and once again, they dumped heavy off of this 350. So people that were in the chat and got the alert when it was up here at 325 and 350 to lock in gains, they did pretty darn well. Now to head higher, it has to get back above this 300-day simple moving average. Fail to stay above $3, it signals more consolidation. Okay, so it has to hold. All the moving averages are lined up here. It basically has to stay above 216. When you have a big volume spike like this on a stock that always sells off, it's always best to lock them in. But this could push higher. You never know. It closed above the middle Bollinger Band. It closed above the 200-day simple moving average. If it could break that 50-day simple moving average at 249 resistance level and get above the 100 and 300, it could keep pushing higher. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's look at DPW. Okay, yeah. So this is the notorious black candle. I just think it's my strategy is to head to sidelines when a black candle forms. Everybody has their own strategy. As you can see here, this has a history of making forming black candles. I mean, it had a black candle here, and it had a huge giant open after. So this has formed a lot of black candles. Most of the time a red candle follows, right? So almost every time on here a red candle's followed and it's been down after a black candle. So you always have to look at the history. What's the history? So like 90% of the time this thing's down, maybe 80%, 2 out of 10 times it was up on a black candle, and the other black candles, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10 out of 12 times it's down the next day, or slightly up. We'll say 9 out of 12, and the other 9 times when a black candle forms, it signals a red candle the next day. I just don't like the black candles. Why do I not like the black candle? Because the stock is up on the day, but it's trading below the open. It's a bull trap. They suck everybody in on the gap up open. The open here was at 140, but it traded below, but it closed up on the day. So it's a green day, but it's deceiving. Now going forward, and also because it was trading above the 50 and 200-day simple moving averages and it dropped back below, it has to get above those levels to head higher. Above 134 signals it wants to head higher. If they turn into resistance, you could see the 300 tested at 110. It has to hold that. If that breaks, then that middle Bollinger Band at 94 will be back on deck. It has to hold the middle Bollinger Band to get a new uptrend going. Really, for it to be a good play, it needs to be above that 50 and 200-day simple moving average. If they hold, then it would be great, and we would be looking at a run up to that 100-day simple moving average at 209. It has a new uptrend going. It could get it going. This could just be, it could be like this kind of move over here. As long as the middle Bollinger Band holds and candles are riding EMA's 4 and 8 support higher, it signals more upside potential. Okay, let's look at TEUM here. All right, so this is another one. Okay, there's a couple of these. TEUM and SSC have a very similar chart. And so what's going on is it's trying to break a key resistance level. It's been riding this 50-day simple moving average, the green line, for multiple days. You can see for 2 weeks straight, it's been working on breaking that level. So it's just that simple. Above that level, it turns it into support. Above 240, that signals it wants to head higher. And then you have the middle Bollinger Band at 263 on deck. Once it turns the middle Bollinger Band into support, it can get a new uptrend going, similar to here. Got above the middle, Bollinger Band, and ran, over here and ran. It gets below the middle Bollinger Band, it pulls back. It got below the middle Bollinger Band and pulled back. Right now, it's finding support. It bounced off the 100-day simple moving average at 204, the gold line. If that holds and it gets above 240, it could run up to 260. It's best usually when it's consolidating, unless you're already in, just to wait for that break above resistance. Otherwise, your money could just get tied up while you're waiting, and not only you potentially could lose, but you're also losing out on having that money work for you in other trades. Okay, let's look at SSC here. Closed down 2.3%. Yeah, this has, in my opinion, it has a similar setup to TEUM in that it's instead of riding the 50-day simple moving average, SSC is riding the 100-day simple moving average sideways. Notice how it's been working on trying to break that level. Once it finally gets above that 313 level, 320, that's going to be your signal it wants to head higher. So above 320 for SSC, and that's going to be your signal. Yeah, this thing wants to head higher. It's got this this high close here. If it can get above 350, it can run back up into those fours. That's where you had support back here. You know, if it fails to hold the EMA 8 currently at 287, that's going to be a red flag. Okay, so it needs to, you know, could run up to the bottom of this if it breaks above this level, and then if it fails to hold this current support zone here, this lime line, you know, it could drop down to EMA 13 at 274, and then the big drop would be down to this convergence of moving averages. You have the middle Bollinger Band, which is the 20-day simple moving average, lined up with the 50, 200, and 300-day simple moving averages. Basically, you know, you at 250 has to stay above 250 to keep the uptrend going, has to break above 313 to head to the next level. And then one more to look at here, I'm going to throw in an over-the-counter stock. This is Global Blockchain Technologies, ticker symbol BLKCF, and yeah, this one closed up 5%. You know, it's just a penny stock. You know, I'm showing it to you because it closed above the middle Bollinger Band down here. It's the first close above the middle Bollinger Band in the month of April, and only had one close above that level in March, it looks like. And it only had a couple closes above that level. It looks like maybe 3 closes in February above the middle Bollinger Band. That's the dotted purple line. So now that it's back above, it goes back on our radar. And so now we try again. You know, we're watching. We're going to see if it can hold. Is it going to continue with the red candle and then go below? The last, each time that it's closed above that middle Bollinger Band, a red candle has formed. And so if a red candle forms tomorrow, it's going to signal a continuation of this previous trend. If you know, it's same thing here. You know, same thing here. If a white candle forms tomorrow for BLKCF, that'll be a bullish change in trend. It could signal the possible start of a new uptrend. 32 needs to hold. That's the middle Bollinger Band. Above 32 signals upside potential, and it could run up to that 50 and 300-day simple moving average in the 40 resistance zone. If it drops below 32, that'll signal it's not ready to go. Okay, there's a look at Bitcoin. You know, we looked at the marijuana sector that was running, and the Bitcoin, you know, sector, blockchain sector has been running. We've got Bitcoin back above 8,000. You know, is this going to be a one-time? You know, is this going to be a prolonged move for Bitcoin and blockchain, or is, you know, and for the marijuana sector, or is this just going to be a 1 week bounce kind of thing? Because they both bounced. You know, they had a 1 week bounce. You know, now we have to look for follow through. And for the Bitcoin blockchain stocks, they're really beaten up right now. And so yeah, marijuana sector got a really nice bid and they got running, but yeah, blockchain is hurting. So we'll see if it can get going. GBTC is heating up, and so it really is going to take, like, you know, NVIDIA, you know, AMD, you know, Overstock, Square, you know, the big dogs. You know, you want to see them heating up. The smaller ones like NETE and FT, those guys have been, you know, DPW, they've all been heating up, you know, and so it just have to see if they can get some follow through. Okay, thanks for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, please check out the chat. I'll post the link below the YouTube video.